and welcome to Minerals, Rocks, and Fossil Facts. I'm your geology teacher, Jen, and it's time for Field Trip Friday. I am currently in the Oquirrh Mountains, overlooking Tooele, standing on an early Permian outcrop of quartzite, which used to be a beach. Used to be beach sand. So I'm gonna go down just a little bit lower so that I don't die. Oh, the loose sediment. I can kind of show you. Okay, so I'm gonna flip this around. Here is our quartzite. This is the lowest of our outcrops, right in this area. Did you just tell them to go and watch? Yes. Okay, so this is our lowest outcrop. You can see up higher we have more of our quartzite. Now, how do I know what I got here? So, if this were just an ordinary sandstone, regular sedimentary rock, I would be able to see grains of sand. I cannot see grains of sand, okay? So, I've got that going for me. It'd be very gritty if it were sandstone. This is just rough, but not gritty. I can't see any grains. I took my hammer out. I'll do it again for you guys because I'm living all over the place. But if I were to scrape this and it were sandstone, I would get little grains of sand coming off. Instead, I'm just kind of leaving these scratch marks on there as it's just kind of scratching the entire surface. And so that's telling me that my grains are a little more stuck together. So it's telling me that this has been metamorphosed to quartzite. And this metamorphosis happened from the mountain building that occurred. So just kind of looking out here, we've got mountain, valley, mountain. So this is the start of our basin and range. Sort of. This is like the second set of mountains. Technically, it starts on our Wasatch Front, but we're close enough. So, basin and range extensional faulting means that through our, let's see, it would have been like Jurassic mountain building. There would have been some Cretaceous through Paleocene, Paleogene, Laramide orogeny. These would have been pushing the mountains together and causing some compressional forces. Hold on, hold this. So they would have been kind of pushing together, and that causes a lot of stresses in the compressional form. Why that occurred is that we had the Juan de Fuca plate sliding underneath the North American plate and pushing rock up onto the continent and causing lots of compressional forces. Our Juan de Fuca plate is just about gone. It had been now and almost just completely devoured by subduction. So we're not seeing as much of that anymore. We haven't for a while. And so that pressure started to kind of relax, and that caused cracking in the other direction as it extended back out. And so we were having valleys drop in between our mountains so that we would have things that look like this. And so we're seeing things pulling apart now. And between both the compression and the extension, our poor Permian rocks who have gone through it all have just had a rough life. But it got them to this pretty metamorphosed state, which makes them really hard to erode. As you can see, I mean, even though we've got blocks of it all over the place, we've got blocks. It's not sand. It is blocks of rock. So it's withstanding a lot. This would have been deposited during the early Permian period. And this would have been on a beach. We were part of a peninsula that went up to Canada and kind of came down. The edges would have been us, northern Arizona, northern New Mexico. We would have had a little bit of the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles, and then up Colorado, Wyoming, back up to Canada, all that fun stuff. If you watched yesterday's video, you would have seen some of the animals that would have lived on this peninsula, like Codolorhynchus, who looks absurd with his huge barrel body and his teeny tiny head. You would have seen amphibians like Diplocalus, who had a boomerang-shaped head, because why would anything in the Permian period ever look normal? They all had to have their weird thing. But there was a lot of weird stuff that lived on our Permian Peninsula and all that fun stuff. Trying to think if I'm missing anything else important about these rocks and how they ended up here, where they came from. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. So, you learned a little bit about the early Permian in Utah. I will see you guys on Monday. I have forgotten what I plan to talk about on Monday. So come be surprised. It'll be fun. And y'all have a good weekend. And I will fossilise you later. There is up there. Yes.